Use these 10 questions carefully. They don't just start conversations, they turn women on. Let's be real, folks. Most men talk too much and learn too little. You tell stories, flex achievements, buy dinner, and still walk away wondering why the spark died on the ride home. Meanwhile, she wanted one thing: you never gave her a chance to feel seen, teased, and excited. Questions are the switch. The right question bypasses her logic, hits her nervous system, and makes her imagine you when you're not there. I'm here to wake you up, not to comfort you. Tonight, we're going to weaponize curiosity with 10 questions that open her, pace her, and pull her closer without a single try-hard line. You'll learn when to drop them, when to stay silent, and how to follow up without breaking the tension. We'll keep it clean and respectful, but let's not pretend these questions build charge. Here's the promise: you'll get frameworks, not scripts. You'll see how each question reveals desire, tests your frame, and creates intimacy she invests in. You'll also learn the mistakes that kill the moment: stacking questions, chasing answers, explaining yourself to death. If you're ready to stop performing and start provoking genuine attraction, stay with me. Use them with caution, use them with class, and watch what happens when she begins answering in feelings, not facts. Let's get into it. Number 1. The question that unlocks her hidden self. Here's the thing, my friend. Every woman has two sides, the one she shows the world and the one she hides, even from herself. The second one is where attraction truly lives. When you reach that layer, she doesn't just like you, she feels you. And the fastest way to reach it isn't through charm or compliments, it's through curiosity. There's one question that opens that hidden door. What's the version of yourself you hide from everyone? Let me tell you a story. Jason, 49, divorced for 5 years, met Olivia, 45, at a local art gallery in Seattle. They talked for a while, surface-level stuff, travel work, favorite books. But then Jason looked at her and in a calm tone asked that question. Not playfully, not flirty, just grounded. The air shifted. Olivia's eyes changed. She paused for a few seconds before saying, "That's a heavy one." Then she smiled and added softly, "Probably the part that doubts she deserves good things." That moment changed everything. Not because Jason impressed her, but because he gave her something she rarely gets: permission to be real. No judgment, no interruptions, just presence. You see, most women live guarded. They're constantly performing at work, online, in relationships. Every man they meet tries to impress them, to earn their attention. But the man who makes her drop the performance, that's the one she remembers. This question works because it flips the script. It's not about you trying to stand out, it's about giving her space to stand in her truth. When you ask it, don't fill the silence, don't jump in to comfort her, just hold the pause. That silence is where trust is built. From a psychological view, this question triggers vulnerability. It taps into a need for authenticity. When a woman feels emotionally safe enough to reveal something, she normally hides. Her brain links that safety to you. That's attachment forming at a subconscious level. And here's the Stoic lesson behind it. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's your weapon here. Ask once, listen twice. Let her words hang in the air. Your silence becomes magnetic. Now, don't weaponize this question. It's not about digging for secrets or trauma. It's about connection, about showing that you can handle who she really is. Because when she sees that you stay calm and unshaken even after she shows you her cracks, she'll start to trust you in ways no smooth talker ever could. Jason didn't say much after Olivia answered. He just nodded, smiled faintly, and said, "That's honest. I like that." That one line, steady, grounded, made her exhale like she'd been holding her breath for years. That's the power of masculine stillness meeting feminine vulnerability. Remember, my friend, when you give a woman space to reveal her hidden self, you're not just making conversation, you're awakening connection. Because the man who listens without judgment doesn't need to prove anything. His presence says it all. If this makes sense to you, write it below. I create safety. Stay tuned, because next we'll go even deeper. You'll learn how to ask a question that flips attraction completely and makes her compete for your attention instead of you chasing hers. Number 2. Make her compete to be seen. Let's be real, folks. Women don't fall for men who chase them. They fall for men they have to earn. When you make her feel she's being evaluated, not adored automatically, something shifts deep inside her. Desire starts to build. Because every woman, no matter how confident, wants to be chosen, but she wants that choice to mean something. That's where this question comes in. What makes you different from every other woman I've met? It sounds simple, but it's psychological lightning. You're not asking to flatter her, you're inviting her to prove herself. And that flips the polarity instantly. Most men spend their time trying to convince her that they're special. This question reverses the game. Suddenly she's the one reflecting, self-assessing, and subtly performing for you. The reason it works runs deeper than words. It triggers the primal urge to compete not against other women directly, but against the image of every other woman. You've now positioned yourself as a man of standards, a man who observes before he commits. That energy, calm, selective, grounded, is irresistible. Because she doesn't want to be one of many. She wants to be the one who stands out. Now this is where most men screw it up. They ask it with ego. They smirk, they lean in, they act cocky. That kills it instantly. The power of this question lies in delivery. You must ask with curiosity, not arrogance. Calm tone, steady eye contact, slight smile. That's what creates tension, the balance between interest and distance. The Stoics understood this energy well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are desperate or validation-seeking, she'll feel that. But if your thoughts are grounded, if you truly see yourself as the prize, your presence will communicate it without a word. You won't have to prove anything. She'll feel your value. This question also works because it puts the focus on her identity, not her appearance. It invites depth. You're telling her, "I'm not impressed by looks alone, show me substance." And when you do that, you stand apart. You become the rare man who challenges her instead of chasing her. But here's the catch. Once you ask, you must listen in silence. Don't interrupt. Don't compliment too quickly. Let her fill the space. Women reveal more when they sense you're not rushing to please them. Your stillness makes her words flow. Your calm makes her open. When she answers, even if it's playful, even if she brushes it off, pay attention to her tone. That's where the truth hides. Maybe she says, "I don't know, I guess I care too much." Or maybe she says, "I don't really try to be different." Either way, she's revealing how she wants to be seen. That's the information you use to lead the connection forward, not by reacting, but by staying present. And here's the Stoic core of it all. Don't judge, don't attach, don't overanalyze. Observe. Like Marcus Aurelius said, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Let her talk, and in her words you'll see her values, her pride, her insecurities, all while you stay composed. Remember, my friend, when she's trying to impress you, you've already shifted the balance. You've gone from pursuer to prize, not by force but by presence. If that hits home, write it below. I am the prize. Stay with me, because what's next will show you how to use one question to reach her most hidden desires, the ones she's afraid to speak out loud. Number 3. Touch her desire without touching her. Here's what most men don't understand. Physical attraction doesn't start with the body. It starts with permission. And permission begins in her mind. The truth is, you can make a woman feel more desire through words and presence than most men can through touch. You just have to know how to reach that space where she imagines what it feels like to be wanted by you. Let me give you a real example. Daniel, 50, lives in Austin. He's a calm, grounded guy, not flashy, not loud. On his second date with Erin, 46, he asked her, What's something you want but are afraid to ask for? He didn't grin. He didn't wink. He just let the question hang in the air with quiet confidence. Erin laughed nervously at first, said, "That's dangerous." But when he didn't break eye contact, didn't rush to fill the silence, she leaned forward and said softly, "Peace, real peace." That one sentence shifted everything. She wasn't just answering a question, she was exposing a longing. And in that moment she wasn't thinking about Daniel's looks or charm. She was feeling him, the safety, the tension, the stillness. That's how you touch a woman's desire without laying a finger on her. This question works because it creates polarity. It forces her to balance vulnerability with curiosity. When you ask a woman what she wants but fears to want, you're walking her straight into the emotional space where desire lives. It's not just sexual, it's psychological. It's where she connects pleasure with trust. Now here's the key. Your energy must match your intention. If you ask with ego, she'll feel manipulation. If you ask with genuine curiosity, she'll feel magnetism. Because real masculine energy doesn't push, it pulls. When Daniel asked that question, he didn't flinch. He didn't laugh. He held steady like a man who could handle truth without judgment. And that's what allowed Erin to open up. When women sense that your energy is stable, they allow their own energy to become fluid. That's how attraction deepens, not through performance, but through presence. From a psychological standpoint, this kind of question bypasses the rational brain and activates the emotional one. She stops filtering her words for social safety and starts revealing what she truly wants, not just from life, but from you. Don't rush this question. It's not for casual banter or first date chatter. You need emotional grounding before you use it, otherwise it'll sound intrusive. The man who can sit in the tension of silence, who can hear her answer without reacting, that's the man she can't forget. Seneca once said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." That's your reminder here. You can't awaken a woman's desire if you can't control your own. When she feels that you're composed, that you don't need to turn this moment into seduction, she feels safe enough to let it become one. When Daniel walked Erin to her car that night, he didn't touch her. He just looked at her and said, "Thanks for being honest." She smiled, paused, and said, "You make it easy." That's how you know you've reached her. If you understand this, write it below. I pull energy. Stay tuned, because next we'll explore how to use her fears not to manipulate her, but to bring out her most authentic feminine self in your presence. Number 4. The fear that reveals her true self. Every woman hides a fear that runs deeper than rejection. It's the fear of being fully seen and then losing control of how she's perceived. You can feel it when she hesitates before answering something real, or when she changes the subject the moment you touch a nerve. That's not disinterest. That's vulnerability knocking at the door. And if you know how to open that door with strength and stillness, you'll see her real self, not the version she shows to the world. Here's the question that does it. What scares you most about being loved? This one hits differently. It cuts through ego, defense, and performance. You're not asking about her past, you're asking about her pattern. Every woman has one. Some fear losing independence, others fear abandonment, and a few fear being known too deeply. When you ask this, you're not just getting an answer, you're being invited into her psychology. Now your delivery matters more than your words. Don't ask like you're reading from a script. Ask like a man who can handle the truth, calm tone, soft eyes, grounded body language. Because what this question really tests isn't her courage, it's your stability. She'll open only as much as she senses you can handle. Here's where Stoicism comes in. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When she answers, don't fix her, don't reassure her, don't say, "You don't have to be afraid, just listen." Sit in that silence like a mountain, unshaken, unwavering. That's when she'll feel something she rarely feels with men: safety and exposure. What most men don't realize is that a woman's fear is the path to her softness. When she talks about what she fears, she's not just revealing weakness, she's showing trust. You don't need to comfort her. You need to respect that trust. Every time she senses your calm in the face of her uncertainty, she feels drawn deeper into your gravity. Psychologically, this kind of question activates two opposing emotions, anxiety and attraction. It's a paradox that makes connection powerful. When she's slightly nervous but feels safe at the same time, her brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical. That's why the men who can handle emotional intensity without reacting always stand out. They make women feel both safe and alive. The Stoics practiced emotional control, not emotional numbness. They felt everything, they just didn't let feelings own them. You have to do the same. When she opens up about her fears, don't analyze or overthink. Just be there. That silence says more than any comforting phrase ever could. And here's something for you, my friend. If you can listen without losing your center, you become unforgettable. Not because you fix her problems, but because you represent peace in a world full of noise. That's what women crave: presence, not performance. If you're ready to master that kind of calm, the grounded energy that makes a woman feel both safe and desired, then it's time to go deeper. Join the membership. Inside you'll learn how to build the inner discipline and emotional control that Stoic men have practiced for centuries. It's not theory, it's transformation. Remember, her fears are not barriers, they're invitations. But only the man who remains unshaken can walk through them. If that resonates with you, write it below. I stay grounded. Now stay tuned, because next we're diving into the kind of question that turns honesty into heat, the moment when connection becomes chemistry. Number 5. When she confesses, she connects. Here's something most men completely miss. When a woman starts confessing, she's not just talking, she's testing. She's watching how you respond to the side of her she's not proud of. And if you can hold that space without flinching, she'll start to bond with you on a level that no compliments or flirtation could ever reach. Let me paint you a picture. Mark, 52, from Chicago, met Vanessa, 48, a few months after his divorce. They'd gone out twice, nothing intense, just good energy, light conversation. But during their third date, things shifted. Out of nowhere, Vanessa said, "I'm not easy to be with. I overthink everything. I ruin good things." Now this is the moment where most men either try to fix it, "No, you're fine, you're amazing," or they panic and pull away. Mark did neither. He looked at her calm and said, "Everyone's got their thing. The difference is whether you own it or let it own you." That line changed everything. Not because it was clever, but because it was centered. He didn't judge her, didn't pity her, didn't rush to make her feel better. He just held his ground with quiet confidence. In that moment, Vanessa didn't just see him as a man, she felt him as one. That's what confession does, my friend. It creates emotional nakedness. And if you meet that moment with composure, it forges something deeper than attraction. It builds trust. Here's the psychology behind it. When a woman shares a truth that makes her feel exposed, her body releases adrenaline. It's the same chemical linked to both fear and excitement. If your energy stays calm, and accepting, her nervous system interprets that as safety, that safety, combined with vulnerability, creates emotional bonding. She starts to associate your presence with release. That's what makes her crave you, not because you make her laugh or impress her, but because she feels lighter around you. The mistake most men make is thinking they need to solve her problems. You don't. You just need to see her clearly and stay steady. That's what Stoic masculinity is about, being the calm center in her emotional storm. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." When she confesses, that's the outside event. How you handle it, that's where your power lies. Don't react emotionally. Don't chase validation by saying what you think she wants to hear. Just be present. In Mark's case, Vanessa later admitted that was the moment she knew she could trust him. "You didn't try to fix me," she said. "You just stayed." That's what most women secretly crave, not comfort, not control, but a man who doesn't crumble when she shows her flaws. When a woman confesses something raw, a mistake, a fear, a regret, she's subconsciously asking, "Can you still want me now?" The man who can answer that question without words, with only his grounded presence, becomes unforgettable. So, remember this when she confesses. Don't fill the silence. Let it breathe. Let her see that you can handle the parts of her no one else could. That's where connection turns into devotion. If that hits you, type it below. I stay steady. Stick around, because next we'll explore a question that strips away all surface talk and gets her to reveal who she really is in just 3 words. Number 6. 3 words that expose her soul. Every woman carries a story she rarely tells, not because she's hiding something from you, but because she's still figuring out who she is when no one's watching. Most men never reach that layer because they stay trapped in surface-level questions. What do you do? What kind of music do you like? It's small talk. And small talk doesn't stir emotion. But there's one simple question that does. A question that's so disarming, so intimate, it pulls her into self-reflection. Describe yourself in 3 words. Sounds innocent, right? But the power isn't in the question, it's in what happens after. She has to slow down. Think. She pauses because she knows those words reveal not who she pretends to be, but who she believes she is. Now here's the secret. It's not about her answers. It's about what she chooses to show first. If she says things like strong, loyal, independent, she's still in performance mode. She's giving you the resume version. But if she says curious, messy, hopeful, she's showing you the real woman, the one underneath the layers. That's when the conversation turns from mental to emotional. When you ask that question, stay completely calm. No nodding like a salesman. No, "Oh wow, that's great." Just quiet presence. She'll start filling the silence on her own, expanding on what she said. That's when the truth comes out, and it's usually not rehearsed. Here's what most men don't realize. This question makes her self-reflect in your presence. That's powerful. She's not just thinking about herself, she's associating those thoughts with you. That's why it's so effective. It creates a shared space of awareness, a small but real moment of vulnerability. From a Stoic perspective, this question is pure mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig." You're helping her look within, not by analyzing her, but by simply asking. That's leadership without control, influence without force. What you're really doing is creating polarity, emotional exposure for her, composure for you. That balance makes her feel safe enough to open, yet intrigued enough to stay engaged. The more grounded you are, the more honest she'll become. But let me give you a warning, don't overplay it. You're not a therapist. Don't start digging or rephrasing her words to sound profound. Your power lies in simplicity. She reveals, you receive. She talks, you observe. When she finishes, just say something like, "Interesting." Most people wouldn't choose those words. That one sentence keeps the tension alive. It tells her you're not easily impressed, but you're paying attention. This question works because it flips emotional responsibility back to her. Most men talk endlessly trying to be understood. You're doing the opposite. You're making her understand herself in front of you. And the man who helps a woman understand herself, even subtly, becomes unforgettable. The Stoics believed that truth isn't told, it's drawn out. That's what this question does. It's not about knowing her. It's about allowing her to know herself through you. So when you ask her to describe herself in 3 words, remember, you're not collecting information, you're creating connection. Every word she says is a mirror. And if you stay still long enough, she'll see her reflection in your eyes, and that's where attraction begins. If that lands with you, type it below. I lead through calm. Stick around, because next we'll explore a question that turns that mirror back on her, one that makes her see you not as another man, but as the one who gets her. Number 7. The mirror that drives her wild. Here's the truth, my friend. Every woman craves reflection. Not in the literal sense, but emotional reflection. She wants to feel who she is when she's around you. The man who can hold that mirror, who can make her see herself differently, is the man she can't stop thinking about. Let me show you what I mean. There's a guy named Thomas, 55, from Denver, quiet, self-assured. The kind of man who doesn't talk just to fill silence. He met Laura, 49, at a wine-tasting event. Laura was used to being the one in control, confident, attractive, successful. But what caught her off guard was how Thomas didn't rush to impress. He listened, he observed. And when she joked about being too much for most men, he looked her straight in the eye and said, "Or maybe most men just don't know how to handle real energy." That line wasn't rehearsed. It came from awareness from him, mirroring what she just revealed about herself, but reframing it with strength. In that moment, Laura didn't just feel heard, she felt seen. And that's what drives women wild. Not flattery, not performance. Reflection. The psychology behind this is simple. When a woman sees herself in your words, her emotions, her energy, her essence, she begins to link her identity to your presence. It's a subconscious bond. You become the mirror through which she experiences herself. Now, the way to use this power is not by parroting her words. That's weak. The key is to reflect emotion, not language. If she says, "I'm tired of people not taking me seriously," don't say, "Yeah, that must be tough." That's sympathy. Instead, look her in the eye and say, "You strike me as someone who carries a lot more strength than most people realize." That's masculine reflection. It turns vulnerability into validation, but without flattery. Thomas mastered this naturally because he understood one simple rule. Women aren't moved by words, they're moved by meaning. Your tone, your calm, your timing, that's what makes your words land. He didn't rush. He didn't talk over her. He just saw her and let her feel it. From a Stoic perspective, this is emotional discipline in action. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most people, including women, live in imagined judgments, afraid of being misunderstood or unseen. When you reflect her truth back to her calmly, you free her from that fear. And that freedom feels intoxicating. The mirror effect works best when you're fully grounded. If you try too hard, she'll sense manipulation. But if you're relaxed, centered, and unbothered, your words become magnetic, because they carry no agenda. You're not trying to get something from her. You're showing that you see something in her. Here's where Thomas got it right after his line. He didn't push further. He smiled, slightly changed the subject, and let her energy linger in the space. That's the secret. You reflect, then you release. The pause becomes the attraction. Laura told him weeks later, "I've never felt so comfortable being myself around someone." That's the result of reflection done right, not attention, but connection. So here's your move when she opens up. Don't react, respond. Reflect what's behind her words, not what's on the surface. She'll feel that you see more than she shows. And that's what makes her trust you and desire you. If you understand this type, it below I see clearly. Stick around, because next we'll go even deeper. We're about to step into the kind of question that awakens a woman's secret fantasies, the ones she hides behind her smile. Number 8. The fantasy she's afraid to speak. Every woman has a fantasy, not always sexual but emotional. A private story she plays in her mind when no one's watching. It might be about passion, dominance, safety, rebellion, or simply being fully seen without having to perform. But here's the truth. She'll never tell you that fantasy unless she feels you can handle it. And the man who can create that space, calm, steady, judgment-free, becomes unforgettable. Here's the question that unlocks that door. What kind of connection do you crave but never talk about? It sounds gentle, but it's powerful. Because it goes deeper than attraction, it's psychological disarmament. You're not asking about her past or her preferences. You're asking about her hidden desire. That question hits her subconscious directly, pulling up the side of her she usually suppresses. Now here's where your energy matters more than your words. Don't grin, don't lean forward, don't treat it like gossip. Ask with calm curiosity. You're not prying, you're inviting. And when she pauses, looks away, or even laughs nervously, don't chase her answer. Just stay silent. That's when the truth begins to surface. The Stoics would call this control of impulse. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you stay composed while she opens up, she feels that mastery. She senses you're not trying to take anything, you're simply holding the space for what's real. And that right there makes her trust you in ways she doesn't trust others. Because what she's really afraid of isn't her fantasy being discovered, it's being judged for it. Most men make the mistake of reacting too soon. They joke, they flirt, or they act shocked. That kills the moment instantly. The key is stillness. Listen to understand, not to respond. When she realizes you can handle her truth without trying to use it, you become the safe mystery she's drawn to. From a psychological angle, this works because of contrast. You're creating safety while discussing danger, comfort while exploring taboo. That duality is what builds emotional heat. Her body reacts even if her mind tries to stay logical. You're not doing anything physical yet, you're creating deep polarity. And here's the part that separates men from boys. Never exploit what she shares. If she tells you something vulnerable, a fantasy, a wish, a fear, don't use it as a weapon. Don't bring it up later to prove connection. The real power lies in discretion. The more you protect her truth, the more she'll crave giving you more of it. Stoicism teaches us to own our reactions. When she shows you her hidden world, she's giving you a gift, not an opportunity to manipulate, but a chance to practice composure. The strong man doesn't seduce with words, he seduces with presence. When you ask this question, remember, her fantasy isn't about the act, it's about emotion, control, freedom, devotion, the experience of being fully understood without a single touch. That's why she'll think about you long after the conversation ends. So when you sense she's holding back, don't force it. Just give her the space to breathe and the silence to trust. That's when she'll reveal what no one else gets to hear. If that makes sense to you, write it below. I listen without judgment. Stay tuned, because next we're diving into the question that breaks every defense. The one that makes her reveal not just what she wants, but what she's been avoiding. Number 9. The truth she's been avoiding. Every woman hides one truth from herself, not because she's dishonest, but because facing it means confronting the parts of her that scare her most. And here's the irony, she doesn't need a man who fixes her or exposes that truth. She needs a man calm enough to let her see it on her own. That's what makes her feel safe, and at the same time drawn to you. Let me show you what that looks like in real life.